everybody to sit down first.
Once everyone is seated, we can move on. Right, come on, get yourself seated. Right, my name is Councillor Brian Holmshaw. Still a bit of noise at the back, please. Right. My name is Councillor Brian Holmshaw. I'm Chair of the Local Area Committee. We're going to start with a couple of thank yous. So I'd say thank you to all of you for giving or evening to join us tonight. I would also thank our hosts here at Israq Centre. It's great to be back here again. And thank you, finally, to our volunteers, community and faith partners in joining us and supporting tonight's event on unity in the community. Tonight's session is all about you and your experiences in the community. We are here to listen to you. We will be handing out question slips. Now, please make sure that you fill those in, because they will be used at the end as part of public questions. And hand them to a member of staff before this item. We also have a box at the back of the room for your feedback, should you wish to anonymise your comments. This can be found on the table with the teas and the coffees in the corner of the room. Before I ask other councillors to introduce themselves, I'm going to hand over to the committee clerk on my right-hand side to read out the housekeeping arrangements. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Before we start, there are just a few housekeeping arrangements to mention. Can I request everyone to switch electronic devices to silent mode so as to not disturb the conduct of the meeting. There is no fire test planned for today. If there is an emergency evacuation, please take instruction from the council staff present. The assembly point, if we're going exit in these doors here, follow the path round, and it's in the car park. There's a very small car park next to the pavement. If you're going out the front, please follow the pavement round to the right. You should be aware that the council is a data controller under the Data Protection Act. Data collected during this webcast will be retained in accordance with the council's published policy. By entering the meeting room, you are consenting to be filmed and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings for webcasting. Any member of the public due to speak at the meeting who does not wish to be filmed should say so at the start of their speech. The Chair will suspend the permission to film their contribution. Webcast will only record the audio contribution. Members of the public are permitted to take photographs and to film or audio record the meeting in accordance with the protocol for webcasting, filming and recording of Sheffield City Council meetings. If anyone wishes to film or record this meeting, please make yourself known now. Thank you. The Chair of the meeting does have discretion to withdraw or suspend this permission if the recording is disrupting the conduct of the meeting, is being undertaken in a manner which could capture personal information, or if a member of the public participating objects to being filmed. Thank you.
Thank you. So, can I ask members and officers around the room to introduce themselves? You will have each of the tables has a microphone that you can use to do that. So could the councillors in particular introduce themselves? So you can pull it over and introduce themselves. So we're starting this table here. The secretary over here is yours working?
Hello? Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Martin Phipps, one of the councillors for City Ward.
Thank you, Martin.
Hi, I'm Henry Nottage. I'm a councillor for Hillsborough Ward.
Table over here.
I'm Councillor Laura McLean, a councillor in Walton Road.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tom Hunt. I'm the Labour councillor for Walkley, alongside Laura and John Wright.
Sorry, just quickly. Councillor Malaka Haby for the Green Party. Thank you.
Thank you, Mal.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Councillor John Wright, Labour councillor for the Walkley Ward.
And finally, I think the final table will be the back left-hand table.
I guess that's us. Douglas Johnson, I'm a councillor for City Wards and another Green councillor.
And Toby Mallinson, Green councillor at Hillsborough Ward.
Thank you very much. So at least one member of staff needs to introduce himself, which is the colleague on my left-hand side.
Hi everyone, I'm Adil Zaman. I'm the Community Services Manager for the Central Local Area Committee.
Thank you. Adil is an officer of the council. Right, so next section is explaining how the meeting is going to work. So we're going to deal with some formal business to start with, and then we're going to move on to the Central Local Area Committee budget report, which will come from my colleague Adil. Adil will first, however, give a verbal update on the Central LAC spend report, and will be followed by a short video. Members of the committee will then be asked to note the recommendation of the report. We're going to have an update on the agenda at that point, so I'll tell you more about what's going to happen this evening, and then hear from some of your local community groups and councillors. Some group discussion work, which is why we are split up into the tables. Some group discussion work will take place next, and we're going to hear feedback from each of these tables and from the audience tonight. We'll then finally move on to public questions and answers, and then finally minutes of the last meeting. Let me reiterate that you will need to put your questions that will go forward on the public slips that have been sent around the room. Thank you. So, Adil. I do apologise, there's one more item, so I think, well, actually, there's a couple of items. So, apologies for absence.
So we've received apologies for absence from Councillors Ruth Mersrow tonight.
Right. We've got exclusion of the public and press, which comes up as an item each time, and I have to say that there are no items that require the exclusion of the public or press. I have to then ask, as item 4, declarations of interest. So are there any members who wish to declare an interest in any of the items of business on the agenda? And if there's silence in the room, then we have agreed to that. So no, I can't hear from anyone, so we can move on to item 5. So this is finally where I hand on to Adil Zaman to give a short update on the Central LAC spend.
Thank you, Chair. Hi everyone, I'm Adil, I'm the Community Services Manager. This is a very brief verbal update on the Central LAC budget report. Each local area committee has a budget of £100,000, which ward councillors use to support community organisations across the 4 wards. The 4 wards for the Central LAC that make up the Central LAC are Broomhill and Sharrowvale, City, Hillsborough and Walkley. In the last public meeting, the councillors decided to agree to split the £100,000 to £25,000 per ward. In the agenda pack, you have on page 9 the budget report, which contains some information in regards to the spend. In regards to the 2025-26 spend, so far this financial year we have allocated, the councillors have allocated just over £53,000 to community organisations. In regards to each ward, on your tables you will find a spend breakdown which itemises where the funds have been allocated. I won't go around through each table. However, I will select a few projects that have been funded. So, for example, in the Broomhill and Sharrowvale ward, the councillors have funded the Broomhill Library to organise a welcoming cultures picnic that was organised over this summer. In the City ward, the City councillors funded the art house based on Carver Street to support hot meal with arts and cooking workshops for residents living with mental health conditions. In the Hillsborough ward, the ward councillors supported the fantastic Hillsborough Midsummer Festival organised by Riverlin and Co. And in the Walkley ward, the ward councillors have supported, amongst other groups, the Zest Centre as part of the This Community Can initiative. In terms of today's meeting, I ask the councillors to note the expenditure against the 2025-26 £100,000 budget priorities in the Central LAC Community Plan. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Officer. It now takes us to the point where we have to, we get a recommendation at this point that the Central Local Area Committee notes the expenditure of the £100,000 budget to address local priorities in the Central LAC Community Plan as detailed in the report. So that is for the councillors to approve. Oh, I'm sorry. To note, that's the correct term. Okay. So have we got a show of hands on that one? To note the report. Is that a correct amount? Yeah, correct number of councillors doing that. So we now have a short video. We're moving from the formal aspects of the session into a short video, which is based on tonight's theme. So if we can play the video.
I'm one of the local councillors for Upperthorpe. It's fantastic to see so many people coming out for our Eid picnic today. Our diversity in Sheffield is our strength, and it's so important that we celebrate all of our different communities. And so Eid Mubarak to everyone who's here today and has been celebrating over the last few days.
Alessandra Argenzio, and we're really pleased today to be here at our second annual now event here at Springfield. We organised one last summer, and it was a huge success, and it was a really hot day, and it's fantastic to be back here this year, and it looks like it's even more successful than last year.
My parents were born in Hungary, and that's why we speak Hungarian.
Because there were lots of children from different backgrounds.
Thank you for that. Hopefully we'll be able to play that one again towards the end. I think it's worth having a look at again if we have an opportunity. We'll be playing that. In the meantime, we have item number 6 is our Grassroots projects. We've got a few local partners here tonight to talk through their brilliant projects being delivered in the community. Each group was going to have up to around 5 minutes each. We are not going to have specific questions after each presentation. What I would ask you to do is to make sure that any questions that you do have are written down on a piece of paper, or that they become part of the discussions that we're going to have around the different tables. So first up, I've not spotted him up to now, but Saeed. Thank you, Saeed. So, Saeed Basharat is from Unity Gym, and you're going to get. You've got slides, have you?
Yeah, let's bring it.
Excellent. So please come up the front. Come on, Saeed.
Dr. Will Mason.
Needs a mic, remember, I do.
So accompanying Saeed is Dr. Will Mason as well. So it's a double-hander, this one.
Can we share it?
Yeah.
Go on, we'll get some. Well, I'll let you hold it in the middle. Is that all right?
Will can hold it.
Apologies.
Hiya, Sarah. So I must say, Sarah, I didn't realise you were going to come up as well.
Oh, no.
Sarah.
It's all right.
If I'll stand there, if I'm blocking it, even everyone, can I just say that video that we saw was brilliant. Honestly, a round of applause for that. Because, I think what we often struggle to do is capture those moments, and I think that was captured really well. I'm someone who's been quite heavily involved in the work that the LAC does in terms of centrally. So having to go on to some of those events, the Broomhall Fun Day being one of those, which I think initially we'd catered for something like 400 people, and like we had 15 or 1,600 people attending, just showed the impact really about the importance of having those spaces. In terms of Unity Gym project, I'll say a few words. We're a very close, small team, some who are here today, some who are just out praying. Dom's over there. Dom, can you stand up for us? Dom is an artist, but he's also a youth worker who's really embedded in some of the work that we do. The organisation was established around 2009-2010, directly really to respond to the cuts to youth and family services back then, because what we saw within our community was really the impact of that, and the fact that having lost so many services, there were poor community cohesion, young people didn't have safe spaces, the community really who generally don't access mainstream services, that sort of gap was widening. So it was really vital for us to have not just a space, but a place where the community felt they could call Unity Gym Project. So hence the name came from that. We've obviously been at the forefront. We sort of are embedded in the community. We respond directly to some of the unmet needs, which I think on the back of COVID, pre and post, we've seen how that sort of health inequalities, but also provisions have been really difficult for people to kind of access. We're a youth and a family sort of community-based organisation, open 7 days a week, or deliver provision 7 days a week. But I think what I do want to say that makes the work we do really unique is the importance of collaborating, but also enabling partnership to foster. And I think one of the things that has developed since the LAC has been in existence is to be able to support and to ensure that services really have that bottom-up approach rather than that top-down approach, which we've seen historically doesn't work. So there's real ethos in terms of the work we do, but also a lot of our work is embedded, more importantly, about starting where those young people and families are. So that's our starting point, really. When someone comes through the door, it's about starting where they are. I want to bring in Will briefly, because a big part of the work we do in terms of what I said about partnership and a huge achievement is about ensuring that there is a close collaboration between the University of Sheffield and the work that Will does there, but also Will's heavily involved in the work that we do. So I want to bring him in a bit to say maybe a few words in terms of the day-to-day of what being at Unity involves, but also what you've seen over the years.
Yeah, thank you, Said. I'll keep this brief because I'm aware that there's lots of other great organisations who are going to speak today. Unity Gym is a really special place to be a part of. We all love weight training, and we use weight training as a medium to engage with young people and families from the community. In my role as a researcher at the university, we've collaborated a number of times now on various different projects which attend to some of the needs that young people express to us in the gym, the things that are important and that matter to the young people that use our service. Most recently, we've done some work around mental health. So we know that trends are really worrying at the moment nationally around young people's mental health. And we've been speaking to young men collaboratively in the gym about their experiences of mental health, their understandings of that subject, and what it is that they gain from having access to a community resource. And we've had some really rich, kind of moving conversations which have affirmed the fact that community resources like this, and it's not just Unity Gym, there are many others in the ward and across the city doing excellent work, are fundamentally important for young people in terms of creating a safe space to go, a space where they can engage with their peers positively, where they can speak to trusted adults. And we've heard from a number of young people, particularly those who feel misrepresented in formal health settings, that this would be the first port of call if they felt like they were struggling. So one of the take-home messages from this research, and I'd very happily talk in more detail to anybody about this at another time, is that if we want to support young people with their mental health, and if we want to prevent an escalation in mental health, then investing in community resources which meet young people and families where they're at is a really important part of the solution.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. So I run Brumhall Girls Youth Group, which is part of Unity Gym now. So before we joined officially with Unity Gym, it was constantly working together in partnership, and Unity Gym supported the work that we did in the girls group. And now I'm proud to say that the girls group is actually part of Unity Gym. It's a space where girls can come together from Brumhall, across Sheffield actually. We have loads of girls who travel to our session on a Tuesday because it's a safe space for them. It's a space where they can be themselves, have meaningful conversations, and be able to express themselves really freely and get support constantly. It's important because it's something that's embedded in the community. It's something that started off from the community And I'm proud to say that Brumhall Girls Youth Group represents what's good about Sheffield. It's what's good about the unity of Sheffield and our community in Brumhall. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
Well, just achievements. I think there was a point that I had to say a few things about achievements. I think it was last week or the week before, we were nominated for the BBC Community, I think South Yorkshire Community Project Award, which we won. And along with that, I think there are a couple of really highlights for me as someone who leads the organisation, and one of those being, if I can ask him to stand up, a young man called Ozzy at the back. Go on, Ozzy, stand up. Come on. Right. Yeah. You know, the work we do is really evidenced by what we produce. And I think through that comes opportunities. And I think when we see young people in our community who have the potential to do well, it's important we offer them those pathways to go on and achieve their full potential. And that's often done with collaboration. The other achievement really, I might have said earlier on, was obviously the Brumhall Fun Day. But I think more importantly about genuine partnership. I think something I want to end on is, you know, we've been around 15 years. I've been involved in youth and community work for far longer than that. And I think the importance of what I want to get across is we're here tonight because, you know, as residents of Sheffield, we are concerned. But we're also, it's really important that we're not misled, but rather informed. And I think a key message of what I want to leave with folks tonight is really the importance for us as a city to continue that sense of unity. You know, what we do is evidence that Sheffield has been a brilliant place, and we want to continue that wherever we are. And obviously, this is really evidence in terms of the people we've got in the room, but more importantly, the work we all do. So I just want to really end on that note. And again, there's a lot of partners in the room that I want to really say, keep doing the good work that you all do. And it's genuinely a great moment to be in this room with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. That was great. I mean, you reminded us of some of the important things that need to be sustained in the city. Youth and community services were brought up, absolutely vital. And I know that Dom at the back there has been involved in creating artwork in the heart of our city, a very important role. Thank you. So, and also thank you for sticking to time as well. Very helpful. So, our next speaker will be Bridget Ingle, Friends of Sheffield City Centre, and Bridget's going to come up and it's going to tell us about her work and the work of the group.
Shall I just share? Okay. So I've been hoodwinked. I was told by Adil that this was a bit of a chit-chat. And of course it's not. It's a room full of people. So I'm Friends of Sheffield City Centre. We set up the voluntary group probably about 4 years ago now, to basically work on projects in the city centre and surrounding areas that the council didn't have the money to fund. So one of the big projects we did was replace all the seating in Tudor Square, which we raised £25,000 for. More recent projects, we've been focusing on art projects to improve the street scene, deal with a lot of graffiti tagging, which is expensive to remove, and that's been really productive. It brings people together and it's an enjoyable exercise for everybody, and it's appreciated by people as well. So I would say that the Friends group, you know, work with people. We think Sheffield's a great city. My father was an Irish immigrant. He came here in 1958 as a 17-year-old and never wanted to leave because he was just welcomed by the people of Sheffield. And we were all brought up with a work ethic and a community ethic. So we've always done community work, and it's important that that continues. So this is you know, one of the things that me and the other volunteers are doing now. So I think one of the things I just wanted to mention, just leading on from the last speaker, I think it's important to remember that in Sheffield there is something quite special. In the 1980s, we never had any race riots in Sheffield. We were never targeted by the IRA when they were bombing everywhere else. So, you know, I know that current times can be quite difficult, but I just think this city is something very special. And one of the things that I finally wanted to draw attention to was the Union Jill protest flag, environmental protest flag. You can't buy these, you have to have them made. So, all the things you can buy on the internet, you can't buy a Union jacket. Pardon? Desecration of the flag. No, just let me finish. So, it's my turn to speak. You can have your turn if you want to. So, the Union Jill flag was introduced in the 1990s as an environmental protest flag when the Conservative government were building a road, building the M3 through Twyford Down. And since then, it's become a flag of protest. The South Bank Centre flew it a couple of years ago, and it's about inclusivity, it's about being colourful, and it's just an alternative level of protest. So, thank you for giving me the opportunity to have a word. Is there any by the way? So that's me finished, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. So in case people were wondering about the reference to the Ingle family, it was she is the daughter of the famous Brendan Ingle of Brendan Ingle's gym. So for our next next speaker, we've actually got two people who are going to come up representing Zest. So I think we've got both Emily and Susanna from Zest. Are you coming out the front? I do hope so. Okay. That's great. So Emily Hearn and Susanna Brewer from Zest in Upperthorpe.
Susanna, would you mind holding this? I really wouldn't. Thank you so much. I've just got a bit of I'm not quite as on the spot as everybody else. I've got a bit of a prepared number. So I'm Emily, and this is Susanna, and we're part of the This Community Can team, the TCC team at Zest, along with Matt here, our CEO, and David, also from Zest. Zest is a community hub based in Upperthorpe, so it's a beautiful Grade 2 listed building that houses Upperthorpe Library. We've got a gym and a pool and a Foodworks cafe, and us. And so when I say us, I mean the work team, who support employment and training, the health team, who focus on improving physical and mental health and well-being, and then the communities team, who we're part of, who work with local children, young people and families in a variety of wonderful ways. So our particular project, TCC, is a community development project funded by the National Lottery, and there are four of us. There's myself and Susanna, and then our colleagues Zoe and Mariam, who can't join us today. So our main goals are to engage with local people and find out what people want to see happen in their area, and then try and support them to make it happen. So getting people involved in community activity to reduce isolation, increase confidence and improve well-being. So ideas are sparked through conversations and consultations out and about, and then we try and encourage people to volunteer to bring these ideas to life. So this can be anything from weekly activities like weekly groups, like English classes, sewing, knit and natter, to monthly groups like Kurdish and Afghan women's support groups, single mums peer support group, crafternoon, food and mood, advice drop-ins, creative writing and more. We support bigger annual celebrations for Eid, which was in the video, thanks to the LAC for their support, Jamaican Independence, summer and Christmas fun days, lantern parades, and the year-long Black History Month programme, so we're not just celebrating Black History in October. So we also work with local TARAs, Tenants and Residents Associations, to support them as well, to increase their engagement with local people, mainly by running their own activities and events. So the aforementioned Lantern Parade is an example of a partnership with Lancashire and Walker Community Association. That's happening again in November. Our work's really varied. Some of it happens at Zest. Other bits are out and about in the community, so using local rooms and spaces that are available. One room, for example, is at Martin Street Flats, at the base of the flats. Oh no, table collapse. Oh no.
Are you okay?
Yeah. So it's in this room that one of my weekly highlights runs every week. So the Wednesday morning English Women's Conversation class. It's a really warm and amazing group of supportive women. So we had 20 women this morning and 5 babies. So it was a little bit hectic, but great. And we talk about everything from the NHS to using public transport to hair, beauty and makeup and Yorkshire slang. We love working in Upperthorpe and Netherthorpe. It's full of warm, friendly, generous, funny, talented and creative people from all over the world and all backgrounds. People who teach us new things, so I now know how to play chess, didn't know that before. We've tried new food, read new books, sang new songs, danced publicly many times. And there are so many acts of kindness. So I asked our colleague Zoe what she's proud of, and she said being part of something much bigger than her own personal experience. The area's got a fascinating history, and we're all proud to work for Zest as well, which is full of colleagues who want to make positive change. We have gorgeous green spaces with the Ponderosa on our doorstep, and the area has so much potential. This is not to ignore or to minimise the issues that we face, but people don't take this lying down. You've just got to look at the work of the PNG, the Ponderosa Nature Group, Upperthorpe Litter Pickers, the determination of local TARAs, looking at Netherthorpe and their fight with the bins, and Martin Street with their parking. So it's impossible to name all partners and everyone that we work with, but we're very proud to work in partnership with all these people and proud to support any individuals that want to be involved. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Emily. It is great to hear about the networks that Zest are working with, because the strength of our communities is working together. And it's lovely to hear that, about the Ponderosa groups and all the others in the area. So thank you very much for that. The next speaker is already approaching, and it's Gillian Creasy, who is the chair, I think you're the chair, aren't you, rather than the secretary, chair of the Brumhall Centre. And you're going to, I don't think you have any slides as such, do you?
I do.
Well, here we are. Slides too. So thank you very much, Jill.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. So yes, I'm Gillian Creasy. I have lived in Brumhall for nearly 40 years. I think that's what I'm most proud of. It was my husband Jim that tempted me into Brumhall, and I've been there ever since. So I'm chair of the Brumhall Centre, and what we are first and foremost is we are a community centre. We're a physical building that is owned by the council. And another thing that I'm very grateful and proud of is the way that the council supports the building. If the council didn't do the basic repairs and keep the thing running, we couldn't do what we do. So that is great for us, and we've had a lot of support from the LAC with funding, but fundamentally it's the community buildings team that supports the building. So what we do is we let out that space. That's our kind of core thing that we do. I've put these on the tables, so there's a little A5 sheet here on everybody's table. There's only 3 or 4 on each table. And that shows you some of the weekly activities that we run. So this last year, for the annual report, I totted up how many regular weekly activities we have. And just in the space of a week, we have 35 activities a week booked in. So it's a lot. Quite a lot of evenings. We've got 2 activities, one early and one later in the evening. We've only got one main hall and a small classroom. So we really have to fit them in as best we can. Also during the year, we had 68 one-off bookings. They're mostly on Saturday and Sunday evenings. And I am very proud to say that 52 of those were parties. I just think the most important thing that we do is give a space where people can come and have, it might be a birthday party, it might be a wedding party, an anniversary. Often it's things like Eid or Christmas. All sorts of different groups come and have their religious or cultural celebrations. And because it's happening in the heart of a very mixed community, everybody can come to those. So they're private events that are being organised, but they involve the whole community. Within this group of this kind of range of things that we're running, there's one big chunk of stuff that we run. And this, in a way, it's not anything for us to be proud of. It was kind of luck, good fortune. 2 years ago, I was sitting in the office and the phone went, and our manager said, oh, I think this is one for you, boss. He always calls me boss. And I picked it up, and I thought it was one of those energy companies saying, you know, will you like to change to us? And I said, no, that's fine, we don't need you. The council organises our utility bills for us. We pay them, but the council tell us who to go with. He said, no, it's not that, we want to give you some money. And it was Cadent Gas, who also fund a lot of work at the Ishraq Centre, and they were basically funding us to run an advice service. So with that money, we've been able to contract with Citizens Advice to do 2 advice sessions, plus the support that goes behind it. So when people have a problem, there's somebody to make the phone calls and chase things up. And we also employ 2 support workers who are kind of receptionists for that service, but they also hold people's hand, help them make the appointments, help them scan in material if they need it, make sure they've got interpreters, and just make that advice service accessible. And then they run a whole load of services around it. So they're running 2 or 3 drop-ins, and then we also connect with other partners. So we've got a food bank, we've got free lunch, we've recently started a food co-op where people are getting a big box of veg and groceries for £4 a week. So there's all sorts of other things that kind of link up with the advice service, and that's been amazing to see that grow over the 2 years. So I think that's it, really. If you want to know more, look on this, and there's also our most recent newsletter, or go on our website and you can see what we do. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Gillian. I think Gillian's provided another dimension in the way that we use our communities, which is the patchwork of events and activities at the Broomhall Centre. It's a real mix there. Meetings, celebrations like the parties, youth club, there's a food bank, and face-to-face advice is provided, debt advice, for example. So, yes, I know it well as the local councillor, and I know how fundamental it is to the area. At this point, we have finished with the grassroots projects, we're calling them, but I would like to point out that we do have some stall holders at the back. The library service are here today, so put your hands up. So Sheffield City Council, library service. We've got metal over in the other corner. Metal helps support health and well-being in the communities through physical activity. We've got City of Sanctuary at the back there. Sheffield welcomes refugees. And we also have, if you can put your hands up, Sheffield Stand Up to Racism. So next what we're going to do is we're going... no. Could you put... I'm not going to talk over you. I'm just not going to pay any attention. Yes. So, excuse me. Could you sit down? No. No. I say no, and I am the chair of this meeting. What I'm asking you to do, sir, is to sit down. What I'm asking you to do, sir, is to sit down. Thank you. Right. What you will need to do, if you have a question to ask, is to put it on a slip and then pass it to the front. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. So, no, you can come down to the front and we have a look at it. Yep. Thank you for that. What I was about to say was that we are going to hear from the local councillors. So the local councillors, the ward councillors, work within their communities and they understand deeply what is happening within their communities. And I'm going to give them an opportunity. They don't often get it at LAC meetings to be able to say a little bit about the work that they do to promote unity in their communities. So I'm going to start with Malachi. Are you okay to speak? Thank you. So, Councillor Malachi Habe.
Hello. How is everyone? Good. Beautiful room, by the way. Beautiful room of people. Okay. So I was actually asked to write a speech, thanks to Adil. It'll be 3 minutes long, and I won't be taking questions at the end. Hi everyone, my name is Malachi Habe and I'm the Green Councillor for Brumhall, Brumhill and Sharrow Vale. When I was first asked to speak today, I thought about what unity truly means. Not as a slogan, not as something we chant when times are hard, but as something living, something real. Green Party, do I have permission to go on a rant about nature? Yeah? Okay, thank you. I want you to look at nature or reflect, because you can't, what's natural in this room? Some wood. But think of a forest. In the forest, the trees, the soil, the water, each meets its own needs in a way that meets the needs of the whole. Even inside our own bodies, our cells work together. If one cell holds too much, the whole body becomes sick. And that's how community is meant to work. But somewhere along the way, we were taught that we're all individuals, fighting each other to survive. And that's not truth. That's colonial. It's a colonial idea. The truth is, we are all cells of a larger body. And no city shows that better than Sheffield. This city was built by many hands. And many of those hands came far beyond the 7 hills of Sheffield. So I'm going to talk to you guys about what our flag over there really means. It means and represents. It represents the Yemeni and Somali steelworkers who kept the furnaces burning, the Caribbean nurses who rebuilt the NHS after the war, the South Asian and Irish families who opened shops, drove buses, taught our children, and built the community. Immigrants didn't take from Sheffield. Immigrants made Sheffield, and they became Sheffield. And when the steel industry collapsed, those same communities held the city together. They ran youth clubs, cooked for neighbours, raised funds for mosques, churches, temples, and schools. They carried Sheffield through hard times. Not because they had to, but because they cared. And if you notice who cares about multiculturalism, it's those that actually do stuff in their community. It's those that actually wake up early enough to litter pick. It's those that go to food banks to make sure the hungry are getting food. My deen, my faith, teaches me that if I earn wealth or I am capable, I must share it. So going back to the nature part of things, if one cell holds all the water while another goes thirsty, the body gets sick. And that's how our society works too. So yes, We must stand firm against hate, racism and fascism. And we must say it clearly. It's not welcome in Sheffield, and it's never been. This is the city of sanctuary. But I also want to say something that you can say is a bit controversial, but it's not about fighting back. It's about communicating back with integrity. Because the moment we only shout, the moment we mirror that hate that's addressed towards us, we lose sight of the healing part. And it stops about building understanding. Even though, in their own distorted way, those people are trying to meet their needs too. I'm not saying be meek or be weak, but if a racist or fascist is in your face, you can, and you feel threatened, you can walk away and, I'm saying be wise. And it's eerie right now in society what social media, what the news articles are pushing. And I know a lot of you feel it, you can clock it in the air and you can see it in the eyes of those people that look at you as a foreign object. But beyond those eyes of hate, you see the fear, like genuine fear. So when you confront people, don't confront them with hate, don't shout back at them, look at them for a moment and just pause. And remind them you don't have to trample on other people to feel safe. And you don't have to take someone's dignity to have your own. Because Sheffield's strength has never been in division, it's in solidarity. It's how we show up for one another, and it's how we keep each other warm when the world turns cold. So when billionaire-funded Farage and the Zionist lapdog, Tommy Robinson, are sent on a psyop to divide our nation, a nation that was increasingly supportive of Palestine and calling out a genocide, a nation with a city like Sheffield, the first council to move the Palestine ceasefire motion, we remind them we support Lift the Ban. We support family reunion. We oppose the government's changes to indefinite leave to remain. And we support safe routes. We rise together, we are one body, and we move with compassion, courage and integrity. And that's how Sheffield thrives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks. We've had a contribution from one of our wards, Broomhill and Sheriff Vale. Could we have a contribution from Walker? Are you okay to do one, Tom? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Well, look, I'm not sure I can really follow that. What an amazing speech. My name is Councillor Tom Hunt. I'm Councillor for Walkley and I'm the leader of the council. And I just want to build on what Malachi said tonight. Let us be clear. Let us say with one voice, there is no room for racism in our city. Let us come Our theme tonight is unity in the community. And when I look out across this beautiful room, I see unity in the community. I see it in the work of Zest. I see it in the work of Unity Gym. I see it in the city of Sanctuary. I see it in all of the organisations who are here today. And I know that many of you are involved in that. So let me say, as leader of the council, thank you all for what you do to promote unity and solidarity in our city. Right now, it is a worrying time. I know lots of people are scared, anxious, fearful to go out at night, worried about what is happening in society. The answer to that is coming together like this. The answer is celebrating those common bonds of friendship that unite the many faiths and communities of this great city. We are a city of many faiths, communities, but we are one Sheffield. We are one Sheffield that we all love. 20 years ago, in 2007, this city took a big step forward when it became the UK's first city of sanctuary. That lit a spark that has then rippled out across the rest of the country. Many more cities, towns of sanctuary, many more schools, churches, mosques of sanctuary, many councils of sanctuary. In 2027, it will be 20 years since the city took that historic step. Now, in the current climate, it might be easy to say we're going to shy away from that. Absolutely not. Now is the time to start the work now to celebrate in 2027 that historic moment when we became a city of sanctuary, to celebrate the fact that we have, as Malachi said, always been a welcoming, inclusive, diverse, tolerant city, and the people who have come to this city from across the UK and from across the world have always been welcomed, and they have made this city what it is today. Now, the next chapter of our story is yet to be written, but I know that it will be written through the contributions of all the people who are here today and those who are yet to make Sheffield their home. We need to continue to welcome them. We need to continue to stand against those who seek to divide us. And remember that our job as representatives is to bring people together, to celebrate what is so good about this city. And today's event has given me already a lot of heart. And let us go out from here and take that word out to our communities, that we are stronger when we stand together, that we must and will and should challenge racism and discrimination of any kind, and that our job as politicians is to remove the barriers that hold people back, whether it's ill health, whether it's poverty, whether it's discrimination. These are the challenges that are inherent in our communities. That's why I do my job. That's why all the councillors do their jobs here. And with your support, we will work together to remove those barriers so that everyone can thrive and make this city the best city it can be, one that's welcome, inclusive, tolerant and diverse. Our diversity is our strength, friends. Thank you.
So there's no compulsion. We've got plenty of the meeting to go through, but if anyone does want to, and any of the councillors want to speak about their ward or any other aspect, they're welcome to. It's up to you. Okay. Maybe it's all been said. You just agreed with that. Henry looks like you may want to speak about some aspect of this.
I'm definitely not going to be able to follow Malachi or Tom's speech. I'm not even going to stand up and pretend to try. But one thing that has been a real high point of being a councillor has been working with community groups and being able to sort of not just enable with little bits of funding the work that goes on, but hear from the people that do the work and the people that attend all of the fantastic events. An awful lot of the council, you have big problems and big budgets, and we spend millions on roads, but there's still potholes. We spend millions on adult health and social care, but people still suffer in isolation. But when it comes to the small community groups, there's so much energy on the ground and so much passion that people have for what they do. And the LAC budget is tiny. It pales into insignificance compared to the total council spend. But the amount that gets delivered by our community groups for such a small input from the public purse is inspiring, and it's humbling, and it's fantastic. And there's an awful lot of rising division and stoking of that division that goes on at the minute, and it's very hard to see opportunities where you can break it down. But in my ward in Hillsborough, one of the LAC events we had that really stood out was the iftar meal, where people from all religions, all races, all backgrounds came together and broke bread. And that is a really historically powerful way to get to know people you don't know. And the main reason we have division amongst different groups is we don't know different groups. And I just want to applaud everyone that is involved with the community group and is involved with doing something positive against such a sort of tidal wave of seemingly other stuff going on.
Thank you. Thank you, Henry. It gives it from a different perspective when you hear it like that, because it is so important that our community groups are supported in what they do. If you add it all together, they must save the city so much money in the volunteer effort they put into working on the ground. So thank you. We're planning to move on now. What I will say is that this is now an opportunity, as we move into the next session of creative workshops, to be able to get yourselves a drink, but please listen to the instructions before you go and do that, because we've got someone who is going to be leading this. We've got Rachel Walton from Rivel & Co, which is a fantastic arts group based in Hillsborough, who is going to lead the workshop discussions. So please, can you explain what we're going to do? And as we move into sitting around the tables and discussing, Rachel, yeah, then you can get yourself a cup of tea, you can get yourself a drink of water as well, and sit back at your tables. Don't congregate just around the back. Go straight back to your tables if you don't mind. So if you can explain, and then we can move on.
Use the microphone. If you can't hear it back, you just have to yell. It's for the recording. Please can you hear? No.
Rachel, if you don't mind, it's because it's a recording and we have to keep the levels up.
Okay. How's that? Great. Okay. So we've heard from a lot of people, a lot of really wonderful stuff, but actually one of the main reasons why we're here today is to also hear from you. We want to hear your stories, we want to hear about your hopes for the future, and we also want to hear some of your suggestions on where and how we might get there. When I run a session, I ask the same thing of anybody that I work with, whether they be 5 or whether they be 95. Because when we do this work, we have to do this work based on respect. Respect for the people around us. We're here to listen. We're here to understand that someone's truth is their truth. So we're not here to contradict it or question it. We're just here to listen to it, record it, and take it on board. And I would invite you to go forward with sharing your stories in really with a feeling of openness and a willingness to hear as well as speak. We are running a little over time. So we do have some facilitators at each table. You have been given some timings, but I think you're just going to have to go with me when I move things on. There are a lot of you in this room. It will get a little bit noisy. So I'm going to do something which I wouldn't usually do, which is give a sign to facilitators, because we will need to stick to time that we are moving on. In which case you will hear... You will, I'll sort it out, you will hear it. Let's see. Also, I'll come and nudge you and tell you to keep moving on. There we go. Okay. They're going to carry on now. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do is you will find on your table that you have got pens and you have got post-it notes. Okay? So what I would like you to do is, first of all, go around the table and share your first name with everyone. And then you will find 2 provocations. What's a story or memory that captures your life living in central Sheffield? Or what's something you'd like others to understand about your experience of living here? You can share more than one story. You can share more than one observation. The facilitators on each table are going to collect the post-it notes from you and stick them on the large sheet of paper that you have on your tables. You will have about 10 minutes to do this task. Off you go. You will find a drawing of a tree. It has empty leaves on it. It is a dream tree. We want to hear from you what you want your communities to be doing, what you want your community to have in the future. This is about aspiration. This is about thinking what we can achieve together. So I'm going to invite you for the next 5-10 minutes to fill in the leaves with your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations. Also, continue writing down your stories, things that you're proud of, things that happened to you, and continue filling out the map with places that you love, that are challenging, or that you think can change. This is our penultimate task, so in about 5-10 minutes, you will hear our sound again, and you'll hear me putting on my teacher voice again, sorry about that, and we'll collect your final views. But for this, you've got between 5 and 10 minutes. Thank you, everyone. happening over the last half an hour, 45 minutes. And so I really want to thank you for all of that. Please continue to note anything down. We will gather everything that's on the table. It will be written up and will be forwarded to planning committees and the strategies for the local area committees. But I'm now going to hand over to Brian for the next part of the meeting. But thank you very, very much for the last 3/4 of an hour. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are going to have a very short, 1 minute each table, feedback of the things that have been happening on their table. So we can quickly move around the room. That's about 6 minutes. We started at 6:15. Everyone trying to get in the room and get sat down, etc. So we're going to hopefully carry on till 8:15. I think we should cover that, shouldn't we? 8:15, and we finish at that point. And take as many public questions as we can. So firstly, feedback from each of the tables. If you can give a quick synopsis. So I think, Nessa, you're on the table, and we'll move across the tables.
John, can everybody hear me? Yeah, so I'm just reporting back from table 1. So we had conversations, and in terms of the first task, we spoke about how proud we are and what makes us proud to be Sheffielders and the areas that we live in. And some of the comments that were fed back were friendly communities, friendly conversations, chatty people, and a lot happens in communities, and there's a lot to get involved with. And it's also about closeness to nature and the countryside, and there's a lot of helpful and mixed communities. Some of the areas that we felt that people, were very proud to and that they loved were Cemetery Road, the Lansdowne estate that was mentioned. Some of the challenges and places that people would want to see is the changes in HMOs, the issues in residential areas, and also some of the junctions in Sheffield could do with some work and improvement. And in terms of what we'd like to see in terms of actions, one of the comments that is attracting more employees for more promising and quality jobs in Sheffield. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nessa. Can we have some quiet from the rest of the room while people are giving their feedback? So the next table, please. If we can quieten down. Thank you, Martin.
Cool, yeah. Lots of really positive conversations at our table. So kind of what people wanted to share about Sheffield and their communities in the first one that they liked. So like local community, really positive, came through on lots of them. Interesting people from all over the world, meet like them on the streets. People of...
Sorry, Martin, we do need to have quiet in the room. We are taking minutes and we need to be able to listen to the feedback. Thank you.
Yeah,
this will impact on the public questions.
Yeah, I think generally the feedback from the first bit was people were really friendly in Sheffield. I keep seeing it in lots of different points, and also like open gardens in our local community and the greenery we see in Sheffield, which is great. Kind of skipping to the last one, because I'm conscious we've only got a minute. Lots of nice things people want to see. People want each other to have the time to spend with each other and their families and communities. People want to see tree walks in the city centre. I hear that's already happening. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Bridget. People want each other to feel safe. They want less expensive public transport, access to nature, health, more community gardeners for the city centre. So yeah, Bridget, if you can get on that one, that'd be good. No, yeah, it's already good. And then kind of go into the practical steps to how to achieve this. Thank you, Jerry. That's very kind of you. More public gyms, UBI, yeah, let's get that, that'll be good. Yeah, better support of litter pickers, yeah, with drinks and snacks, maybe a conjunction with local businesses and cafes. They do twin really well at Callum Island, Kinker, yeah, I can endorse that, that is true. Sheffield City Council re-entering the Britain and Bloom competition to encourage local communities to enter community gardens. Yeah, that would be another good practical step here. So yeah, lots of good stuff and yeah, more green spaces.
Thank you very much, Martin. If we can move on to the table over here in this corner. Is Laura, you going to give the feedback?
I am, thank you. So we had some lovely chats on our table, similar themes to the tables that have fed back so far. One of the themes that a few people mentioned are things to do with transport, and that it's quite hard at the moment to get across the city because our bus service at the moment really isn't fit for purpose, and that if that hopefully will change with bush franchising, it will mean that we will be better connected to the city, and some of those sort of actual barriers to communities being able to reach one another will change. So that was one thing that was a recurring theme. There was a thought that we needed to have better collaboration between our community organisations, share our knowledge, have regular meetings, and sort of work together on broad projects to try and tackle some of the systemic issues. We talked about youth clubs, that we need to have more of them, and there needs to be more support for them. More activities as well for young people with SEN needs up to the age of 25. More community events based around cooking and sharing and food together to bring people and children together. Just the sort of overall hope that our city will just continue to become more connected, caring, welcoming and prosperous and peaceful. Thank you.
And table at my right, I know Gillian's on it. I don't know who's giving the feedback.
How's that? Okay, I've been tasked with summarising a mixed bag in terms of feedback, so I'm going to focus on the dream tree. There's a number of things on here. I'm going to try and cover all of them. So clearer routes to employment for people with low qualifications or experience with the criminal justice system. We'd like a thriving economy and a city where everybody can get a job, because we know that work is really meaningful for people. Less labelling, social prescribing, investment in social prescribing, particularly to do with nature and exercise. And somebody's mentioned the green paper, which is called the Dose of Nature paper, which is apparently a really good resource in relation to this. We'd like to see out-of-hours mental health rehab, out-of-hours mental health provision and a rehabilitation hub. There's a call here for old-fashioned values and for some consideration around how council money is spent in terms of transport infrastructure, and a bit of a concern around Dutch roundabouts and the way that roundabouts are being repainted. Less toxicity. There's a stand up to racism sticker, and a notion that we'd like to see a Sheffield where everybody feels welcome, and sustainable investment in community resources, so that the resources that are really important in our communities can continue to thrive and support people in a way that isn't on such a shoestring budget.
Are you trying to say all lives matter?
I didn't say.
No,
I mentioned there's a stand up to racism sticker.
Yeah.
And it does,
all lives matter.
It does say all lives matter on the sticker. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Right, thank you very much for the feedback. The table in the middle at the back is not going to give any feedback, I understand. Yes. Yeah. So, at the far corner on my left. So I know it's the table that Toby is on, amongst other people.
Yeah, my name is Joseph from City of Sanctuary, Sheffield. So we discussed situations that lived experiences, and we understand that Sheffield is a welcoming city, and we have a lot of greens, and it's inclusive. Their activities have been taking place at the council. We have been invited sometimes, so it's quite inclusive. Though there have been a few scenarios twice. There's a time we had our meeting in the City of Sanctuary. We had a few individuals, I don't think they were a group, who tried to disrupt our meeting, which was very strange for Sheffield because we find it a peaceful environment. And there was also a bit of backlash in one of the campaigns that were run in the city centre. But in general, we find that Sheffield is a welcoming city to live in. As asylum seekers, we also go through a lot of challenges, like lack of transport because asylum seekers are not allowed to work. That's why, hence, we are advocating and campaigning for the Lift the Ban on the Right to Work campaign. And we wish asylum seekers could be given the right to work because it will give us the hope, the independence, so that we can do things. Otherwise, the little support is really frustrating and depressing because we are not able to do the right things for our good mental health. And just to read, because we discussed in very different groups and individuals, we also say we came here because of domestic violence, did not get residence. So there's the issue of homelessness, which is consistent, especially when transitioning from asylum seeking when they are granted to refugee. Most people, they experience the threat to homelessness, which also impact on our depression. It brings about depression. And there are actual cases of homelessness taking place after people had accommodation before. So that's why we are also asking the question to say, is this situation going to be practically sorted out? And also on the right to work, is the right to work going to be practically given? So we also have a family tree, which my friend is going to read through the points that we have in there.
Hello everyone. Our dream tree is about something like important thing we need, that we want to be at safe, we want to be in peace. Everyone needs to be in healthy support, to have work and study. They need enough money to be in good life, stability, work, and they need the paper to can work, to can be a volunteer, to can do everything they need to be good in the community.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. One more point which I almost missed is about legal representation. We also find that legal aid is not fully inclusive because we have cases whereby legal aid is not given to everyone practically, feasibly, in the sense that it appears there are cases which the legal aid takes and some they do not take. And sometimes when they take a case, within the process, they end up asking for money. After saying that they have discovered that the case is too involving, so they need to outsource extra services on the case, and it leaves most of us. I know someone who went through that, which was similar to my case. It brings a lot of confusion in us on top of what we already go through, and we don't have anywhere to get funding, and the Home Office or Tribunal, depending on the case, they are waiting for you to appear. So we don't know who is monitoring the legal aid system so that this should not be happening. We used to think that legal aid fully covers everyone feasibly. And also the time that solicitors communicate, they delay a lot. There's too much delay in communicating. And we also had a workshop 2 days ago with the South Yorkshire Legal Aid, and we discovered that there's lack of efficiency for legal aid representation. We are also
okay, thank you. We're going to have to move on to the public questions.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And thank you for everyone who's provided the feedback and has been sat around the table. What will happen is this will go forward to our stakeholders. It will go forward to the relevant committees. We don't just let this hang around in the ether. We do make it move forward. That's one of the things that our LAC is very proud of being able to do. So we have a number of questions. We've just had 2 questions that have just come in, which we won't have time to answer here. They are from people who don't want to speak about them anyway, so they will get a reply on email. Okay? We've had 5 questions here which people want to speak about. I'm going to pretty much be strong about this. You must stick to the question. We don't want statements. We want to hear what people's questions are in this LAC. So, they are from... I can find them. Oh, sorry. Yes. Right. They are from Rick. So Rick has asked questions. There are 2 questions here from Rick. If they can go back to Rick. Rick, if you could read them out, that would be great. So put your hand up, Rick. I'd like the questions, please. Thank you. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah. You'll get back in a sec. So basically, I've looked at the Walkley board here, and it says lick of paint for an underpass costing £4,413. Sounds a bit more like a lick of paint. Can you justify how much was spent and which company it was allocated to, please?
Okay. So that was a question to the Walkley councillor, as I read on the form.
Yep.
Right? So that is a question that will go to the Walkley councillor.
So he's not here then?
Sorry?
He's not here then?
Well, I mean, it's a question to the Walkley councillors, and they can answer here, or it could go via email.
I'd like them to answer here, please.
Okay. If the Walkley councillor is here and wants to speak, there are 3 Walkley councillors.
Yep, thanks very much. The cost that you have highlighted was for a brand new community mural, and if anyone knows the underpass that goes under Netherthorpe Road to the tram stop, it's not always been an area where people have felt safe. It's been a bit dark, and so the mural is to brighten up the underpass and make it feel really proud. And the murals, there's 2 of them, they've been designed in consultation with the local community, tenants and residents associations in particular from both Edward Street and Netherthorpe have been involved in the design. And the mural, the one running down from the tram stop, is all about making people feel proud of Netherthorpe, and it celebrates the Ponderosa, it celebrates the tram, it celebrates the tower blocks in Netherthorpe, things that people say they felt really proud of in Netherthorpe. And we've worked with Sheffield Hallam University and students from the university, up-and-coming artists who have worked with a more established artists. And the second mural was part of the Lick of Paint Festival, which was about how we can use street art in the city to celebrate the talent of everyone in our city and to brighten up some places, some overlooked and underloved places. So I think it's a really good use of the money, and so far the feedback from community has been really positive. And if you haven't already been down to have a look, I would really recommend you do so.
Charlotte, thank you. So I've had an indication from another councillor who would like to say something about, I think possibly about the murals in the city.
No, it's just about the lick of paint. Douglas Johnson, City Ward Councillor, just wanted to add, City Ward Councillors also made a contribution towards the Lick of Paint Festival. And it's not a lick of paint, it's a festival. Really interesting, innovative sort of arts and culture-based development here. So it's about brightening up the city, but also it's a big step towards deterring graffiti and tagging, which is something where lots of people get onto councils all the time about, so this is an action about it. But it's also, and this is the interesting thing, it's also about supporting artists. And Lick of Paint Festival supported some artists here at home, but then also brought some from across the region and the country, and brought some quite absolutely unique works of art to the city. And I think there is now a trail, and you can go around and see those. There's quite a lot to see. But that weekend just galvanised a lot of people. So I just want to say this was a lot of work that was brought together by a number of people in this room supporting the organisers of that and supporting the artists.
Okay, thank you for that, Douglas. That's a bit more context. So you've got a second question, Rick.
So thank you for that detailed explanation of what a lick of paint actually meant. There's obviously a lot more to it than it sounds. So you're the leader of the council. So can I get a statement from you that all lives matter?
That wasn't a question.
I've still got the question here, right? So I'll need my glasses. 1 second. 1 second.
We did receive that question.
Yeah. I need my glasses. You want to read it?
There was a question, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a question, yeah.
Can we get a
So we
But he's one down here.
we haven't received it. This is the process which I explained at the beginning.
Let me class it now.
And halfway through that we do need to receive these questions.
Okay. So this is why has Councillor Mayor Lear at yesterday's LAC meeting say the painted mini roundabouts that have been painted white and red are dangerous? Now they can be seen. She stated that the council will repaint them at further unnecessary expense to all us council taxpayers.
Okay, so thank you for that. We've looked at that. That did come to us. We had a look at that one. And it's not in this LAC, so it's not a relevant question for this LAC. What we can do is, I think we can do this, we can take it forward to East LAC, where it's relevant to, and get them to reply to you, and we've got your email address.
That's very kind of you, thank you.
Thank you. So, okay. So the next I've got on my list here is from James. So James, if you'd like to read out the question.
Okay. Why is sorry, that was a bit louder than I expected. Why is flying the flag of our own country in that country even controversial? It's not in any other. It's not in any other self-respecting country.
All right. Thanks for that, James. You're going to see the flag proudly displayed at many of the events that the LAC supports, that ward councillors support. We had a video on earlier, which you kind of failed to miss the number of flags that were flown there, but also we had the Yorkshire Rose as well, because one of the events fell on Yorkshire Day. So we think it's really worth us putting that out. Excuse me. Thank you. Right. So I hope that answer was suitable for you. So we're moving on to the next question. We are moving on to the next question, the next answer. So we got a question from Tamza. Tamza wanted to present the question. Tamza? If Tamza is around. Okay. You said you wanted to present the question, so you got an opportunity to read it out. Can you use the microphone, please?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My question is, what practical action are you taking to support people seeking asylum, people seeking sanctuary, to fully integrate within the community in those spaces?
Okay. So, Tom's up. Let me dig out my notes. So I know that City of Sanctuary, with their Sheffield Welcomes Refugees flag, actively supports refugees. Just for some clarification, did you mean something more extensive than that when you said about support? Yeah, so I'm going to hear from Melinda. Yeah, would you like to?
I think that the question that he wants to ask is that we are the first city of sanctuary. We know that, and we are very proud of that. But the word has meaning, has power. What we are asking is that we need to take practical action, for the people seeking asylum to integrate within the community. We have been talking a lot about many activities. We are very beautiful, the Broom Hall, the library, everything. But people are not even able to afford to come to the city centre, to come to this, to get activity or to get this English lesson. This is what my colleagues is trying to make. What practical action, are we taking to fully integrate? Even all these people are here today because Adil were able to support us with, with the travel expense. But in general, they are not even able to be here and to participate in this place where their voices are being heard.
Thank you. So I understand more fully now, we're talking specifically about transport. So one of the things that has been mentioned in the past, and it was at our previous meeting, which was about transport, was the inability of people to be able to afford cheap transport. So I know we are talking actively as a council about putting it forward that refugees have some support, refugees and asylum seekers have some support for travelling in the city. Yeah. So, and I will make sure that's articulated further. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And you two, thumbs up. So finally, and we have four now that have just come in. So they are going to be responded to by people who by email. So that's going to go by email, I'm afraid, because we've got such limited time now with the not quantity of emails that have come in. So this is from Craig Myers. So Craig. Yes, so one of them, I've been informed, you've taken up with the councillor. Okay, so you've asked to take that up with the councillor, and that you sorted out a way to do that. So, so that's one of your questions.
So my first question is relevant to the central area, as it is the whole city in actual fact. The council, as I'm sure you're aware, have entered into a renewal and repair contract with Amy for all the council highways. There's considerable disrepair, of which the contractor Amy has a responsibility to repair. What I've noticed is when these repairs are undertaken, or when they're reported, the first port of call is that Amy actually go out to investigate their own repairs, which is a clear conflict of interest. It's not in their interest to actually acknowledge the fact that any work's required, because if they did, they'd have to spend some money. I've asked this question in numerous forums, probably over the last year or so. I've not got a satisfactory response. I spoke to the leader of the council during the interval, and he did suggest that there's an audit trail in place to actually make sure that Amy are adhering to their repairing obligations, but I've not seen any evidence of that, and I want to know what action will be taken. I've requested on a few occasions now to actually meet with the leader of the council to actually discuss this, because I think the council have an obligation to have some form of contract administration rather than leaving it to a third party who's got a vested interest. And I'd like to put that question to the leader of the council and for him to come back with a dedicated response.
Right, thank you, Craig. I thought, certainly on the second question you were going to ask, that had been taken up by the councillor who you'd spoken to. I don't know whether you want to follow that up, Tom, in this case of this particular question as well, because it was to Walkley councillors.
To follow that up, just to say, we spoke earlier on, so look, Chair, in the interest of time, just to say, there is an audit trail, as you have already mentioned. I'll make sure that you get further information on that, and if we need to have a further conversation, we can do. But I think we've spoken tonight, so in the interest of time, I'll leave it there, Chair.
So, thank you. And your second question, you may want to read it out. I think you may get the same response, because you did have quite an extensive chat earlier.
Well, we'll see where we get to with the response, and perhaps we'll take it up further down. My second point, really, just looking at the minutes of the previous meeting, there doesn't appear to be any actions assigned to anyone, in all honesty, or any time frame to resolving those actions. For example, there's public questions that have been asked, and they're not assigned to anybody. No actions can't possibly get addressed. So that's something that needs to be perhaps picked up for the next set of minutes.
Thank you. The information I've had is that minutes are a summary. They don't cover all the actions. So for example, we feed all the table feedback goes to the stakeholders each time, and that's a considerable action, but that isn't.
Well, I think that needs to be recorded as a matter of course, don't you?
Absolutely. Then in future we'll make sure that that actually goes within the minutes that we're doing that. I thought it was, so thank you for highlighting that. I will make sure that that action does go in there and comes back to us. Right. Now, we have a final item. As I said, other people have put questions in. They were very late coming through, so we haven't got the time to be able to deal with them now, but they will get an email response. So the final item that we've got to deal with is minutes of the previous meeting, and that is for the councillors who are present here to be able to approve as an accurate record the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 16th of July 2025. And I will bear in mind from Mr. Myers to make sure that all the actions that do come as part of that meeting are included in future. So, are the councillors here minded to approve the minutes of the previous meeting? So, if I could have a show of hands, that would be great. Okay. Right. So, I'm sorry. I said going forward. We would ensure that it went in going forward. So, yeah. So from here on, any actions within the meeting should be part of those minutes. Yes. Okay. I hope that's okay. So, just to say thank you for your perseverance this evening. We have gone over time. It shows the value of this kind of meeting and that we put effort into it from our partners and from the councillors and everyone who's been facilitating around the table, from the staff, from Rachel over here. I made a point to actually refer to you, and from public who are in the room. The next meeting of the Central Local Area Committee will be held on Wednesday, the 26th of November 2025, and we're going to be sharing further details in due course. Tell your friends and neighbours and make it as popular as this one has been. Thank you.